There's only one thing a friend of mine years ago taught me when I was coming up, and I was deciding if I was gonna do this, if I was gonna pursue this life. And he's an Indian friend of mine. And he said, "Abnahito kab." I think that means if not now, then when. So whatever you want to do, Abnahito kab.
Nothing else needs to be said. The words now give way to the action. There's an undeniable anxiousness, I would think, for the entire MMA fan base as they get ready to watch a fight of this caliber and this magnitude.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into a fight that's got the middleweight division buzzing. Adesanya versus Imavov, headlining UFC Fight Night in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, this one should be good.
You guys sent in some great sources, so we're going to break down what makes this matchup so fascinating and why you should be glued to the screen come fight night.
Absolutely.
We're talking about a former champ, on a quest for redemption against a rising contender looking to make his mark.
It's that classic clash, right?
It is.
You've got Adesanya, dominant for so long, known for his striking and showmanship, but 2 losses in a row really put him in a tough spot if he wants to stay in the title picture.
Sure.
And then you have Imavov on a 3-fight win streak.
Oh, yeah.
Just has that aura of someone ready to take over.
I'm with you. Okay, let's unpack this a bit, starting with Adesanya.
Okay.
Sources are all about resurrecting the king here. He's coming off those losses to Strickland and Duplessis, his first losses at middleweight. And this is his first non-title bout in over 5 years. What does that tell us?
I think it says a lot about his mindset going into this fight.
Oh.
He's in unfamiliar territory, right?
Yeah.
Adesanya is used to being the hunter.
Not the hunted.
Not the hunted, exactly.
Interesting.
The sources highlight all these quotes about him using the doubters as fuel.
I did see those.
And I think that's key here.
Okay.
He's going to want to make a statement, remind everyone why he was considered the best middleweight in the world.
Almost like this isn't just about winning for him. It's about proving something.
Yeah, to himself and everyone watching.
Exactly. Like this isn't just another fight. It's personal.
It feels that way for sure.
All right. Now, on the other side, you've got Imavov, who's been quietly climbing the ranks.
Yep, he's been impressive.
The sources describe him as versatile, resilient, and that win over Brendan Allen was huge for him.
Really put him on the map.
It did.
And he's not shy about his ambitions either.
Oh, no, not at all. Like he said,
I quote,
"I'm not here to dance. I'm here to take what's mine."
I love that. Sounds like a guy ready to seize the moment.
He is. He's young. He's hungry. And this is his opportunity.
I'm excited to see what he does with it. His fighting style is really interesting, too.
It is. He's not just a striker.
Okay.
Strong grappling background, which could pose problems for Adesanya.
Hold on. Are you saying this is more than just a striker versus striker matchup?
I am. Adesanya, he's known for that kickboxing finesse.
Oh, yeah.
That precision striking.
Sources talk about his control, how he dictates the pace.
Right.
But he has been vulnerable to wrestlers in the past.
He has.
Now that's where things get interesting. So you're telling me Imavov might actually try and take him down, mix it up.
He could. It's definitely something Adesanya is going to have to be prepared for.
For sure. Think back to that fight against Jan Blachowicz.
Oh, interesting example.
Blachowicz controlled him on the ground, neutralized that striking.
Okay, so a potential weakness for Adesanya then.
Potentially.
But the sources also point out Imavov averages like over 5 significant strikes per minute.
He does.
So he's not afraid to stand and trade.
Not at all.
What happens if these two just decide to slug it out?
Oh, man. Then we're in for a treat. Adesanya's got that 80-inch reach.
It's huge.
And he uses it well, keeps opponents at bay.
But Imavov, he can take a punch.
He's shown that. He case coming forward.
I am so ready for fight night.
Me too.
So we've got Adesanya, the striker, wants to reclaim his throne, and Imavov, the hybrid fighter, hungry to take his spot.
And that's just scratching the surface. We haven't even talked about the mental game, the pressure of fighting on a global stage, or what this fight could mean for the entire middleweight division.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's break down each of these fighters in more detail and really analyze what they bring to the table.
Sounds good to me. Let's start with Adesanya. When you look at his striking, it's not just power, it's precision, it's timing.
He really is a master of setting up those power shots.
Uses a lot of feints, angles, creating those openings. Think about his jab.
Yeah, the jab.
Yeah.
It's not just a rangefinder, it's a weapon.
Exactly. Setting up those power shots.
The sources actually break down some of his key techniques.
Oh, yeah.
Like that lead leg teep kick.
Keeps opponents at bay.
And his counter left hook. Knockout blow a few times.
Oh, for sure. And don't forget, he can switch stances seamlessly.
Oh, I love watching that.
Orthodox to southpaw, keeps his opponents guessing, creates those opportunities to land those unexpected strikes.
It's almost like watching an artist at work.
It is.
It's technical, calculated, and when it all comes together,
Beautiful.
beautiful to watch.
But it's not just about aesthetics.
Right.
He's incredibly effective, one of the most accurate strikers in the UFC.
We've talked about that.
That's as we mentioned.
The vulnerability to grappling.
Yeah.
And that's where Imavov's style becomes so intriguing.
It does.
He's got options.
He does.
He's not just going to stand there and trade punches.
Nope, not at all. And he's shown he's not afraid to use those options.
Okay, give me an example.
That fight against Edmund Shabazian,
Right?
mix of striking and grappling to control the fight, even secured a couple of takedowns.
But Adesanya, he's been working on that takedown defense.
He has. He knows it's a potential weakness.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to train takedown defense. It's another to defend it against someone like Imavov.
Right.
With that wrestling background.
Okay, so let's play this out for a second. Imavov's ideal scenario.
Okay.
What does he need to do to win this fight?
He needs to pressure Adesanya, make him uncomfortable,
Okay.
close the distance, can't let Adesanya dictate the pace,
Right.
pick him apart from the outside. He needs to get inside, maybe try to clinch up, work for those takedowns.
Ray him down.
Wear Adesanya down, exactly. And remember, Adesanya's never gone past the third round in his losses.
So you're saying if this fight goes into the championship rounds.
Could be a big advantage for Imavov.
Yeah.
Known for his cardio, his ability to maintain that high pace.
He could outwork Adesanya.
He could in those later rounds.
But it's not going to be easy.
No, it's not.
Adesanya's a smart fighter.
Mm.
Experienced. Knows how to manage distance. Avoid getting trapped.
He does.
But let's say Imavov gets him down. What happens then?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Adesanya, not known for his ground game,
Right.
but he has shown flashes of brilliance.
Like what?
He submitted Paulo Costa,
Oh, yeah.
triangle choke.
Okay, so he's not a complete fish out of water on the ground.
No, not at all.
But can he hang with someone like Imavov who's been training grappling his whole life?
That's the big question. If Imavov can get this fight to the ground and control Adesanya, it could be a long night for the former champ. But Adesanya is a proud fighter.
He is.
Determined to prove he can handle adversity. He's not just going to roll over.
No. That's what makes this fight so compelling.
It is.
It's not just a clash of styles.
Right.
It's a clash of narratives.
It is. You got Adesanya,
The fallen king,
trying to reclaim his throne.
and Imavov,
The hungry challenger.
looking to seize his moment.
The stakes are high.
They are.
Yes.
So high. For Adesanya, this is about more than just winning.
It's legacy. He doesn't want to be remembered as the guy who couldn't handle the pressure.
Right. Couldn't bounce back.
Can bounce back from adversity. And for Imavov, this is his chance
To prove he belongs.
to prove he belongs at the top.
At the top of the division,
A win over Adesanya.
statement win
A statement. A launching pad.
for his own title aspirations.
We're talking about a fight that could potentially reshape the middleweight landscape.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the fighters, their styles, their strengths, weaknesses.
We have.
But what about the bigger picture? What does this fight mean for the division as a whole?
Well, the middleweight division is wide open right now. You got the champion, Alex Pereira, still relatively new.
Right.
And then a bunch of contenders all vying for a shot.
All vying for their shot. Adesanya is still a big name in this division.
He is.
A win here puts him right back in the mix.
Back in the mix for a title shot, exactly. But a loss.
Ooh.
Devastating. Third consecutive defeat
Oof.
raises serious questions
About his future.
about his future in the sport.
So this is about more than just getting back in the win column.
It is.
It's about staying relevant.
Staying relevant. He needs to prove he's still a force to be reckoned with.
And for Imavov,
Chance to make a statement. A win over Adesanya puts him in the conversation.
in the conversation for a title shot. All right, let's shift gears for a moment.
Yes.
Talk about the location. Saudi Arabia,
Interesting choice.
country that's been investing heavily in combat sports.
They have. It's interesting, isn't it?
The UFC making this big push into international markets.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabia has become a key destination.
It has.
The sources highlight the significance of this.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the growing MMA market there, passionate crowds, and that global vision of the UFC.
Definitely a sign of the times.
It is.
MMA is becoming a truly global sport.
And Saudi Arabia is playing a big role.
Huge role in that expansion.
Let's be real, though.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of controversy
There is.
surrounding this decision to hold events in Saudi Arabia.
Concerns about human rights,
Yeah.
sports washing.
It's a complex issue.
Very complex. No easy answer.
No easy answers at all. We're not going to get into the politics of it all.
Right.
But it is something to keep in mind.
It is. As we watch this fight unfold.
Absolutely. It's important to be aware of the context.
Yes,
The context in which this fight is taking place. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
we have.
I talked about the fighters, their styles, the stakes, the location. But let's bring it all back to you. We've gone through all these sources, analyzed this fight from every angle. What are the key takeaways? Why should people be excited about this?
I mean, there are just so many layers to this fight. You got that technical aspect.
Right.
Adesanya, elite striking.
Yeah.
Versus Imavov, well-rounded game. And then you have the narrative. Redemption versus ambition.
I love that.
Can Adesanya prove he's still the king?
Yeah.
Can Imavov seize this opportunity and become a star? And then you have this whole backdrop.
The UFC going global.
UFC's global expansion, all the complexities that come with that.
It's not just about who wins and loses.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's about what this fight represents
Both fighters.
for the sport as a whole.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so compelling. It's a fight with implications that go way beyond the octagon.
Okay, let's put on our prediction hats for a second. How do you see this fight playing out?
Oh, tough one to call. Adesanya has the experience, the technical advantage on the feet.
He does.
But Imavov, younger, hungrier,
Yeah.
and he has the potential to disrupt Adesanya's game plan with that grappling.
I hear ya. I'm leaning Adesanya on this one. I think he uses his reach and his movement to keep Imavov at bay. And I think he lands some big shots.
Yeah.
That'll eventually put Imavov away.
I can see that happening. But don't count Imavov out.
No.
He's got the power to hurt Adesanya. And if he can get this fight to the ground,
Could be a different
he
story.
could pull off the upset.
So chess match on the feet or grappling war on the ground. Either way, sounds like we're in for a treat.
Oh, absolutely. This is a fight that has the potential to be an instant classic.
And that's why you should be tuning in on Fight Night. Adesanya versus Imavov. A middleweight clash with everything on the line.
It's a fight you won't want to miss.
Before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
Remember, this fight's about legacy, about ambition, about proving yourself on the biggest stage.
And regardless of the outcome, both these fighters, they're going to leave it all in the octagon.
They will.
They're going to show us what it means to be a warrior.
That's all for our deep dive into Adesanya versus Imavov. We broke down the fight, explored the narratives, and hopefully gave you a deeper understanding of what's at stake.
Now it's time to sit back, enjoy the fight, and see whose story gets written into the history books.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that fighting spirit alive.